Hey, how you doing? All right, let's do it to it. Let's get into this. I'll get a drink and then we'll get started. So the Rice Gambit. This endless of an opening gives us plenty to work with. Glancing through the magazine of that time, I see the following 14 moves. An excellent with Misler. Marshall and analyzed the previous night from 10 to the evening to 3 in the morning. So they actually analyzed everything. So let's see here. Boom, boom. Let's see what this actually gambit is. I want to see what this is. If there really is a Rice Gambit. Hold on. So it's the King's Gambit accepted. King's Knight Gambit. Okay, so I'll mark that down. Okay, got it. The King's Gambit, okay. For some reason they called it the Rice Gambit. Well, this is an older book too, so they have now it's the King's Gambit Night Variation. King's Gambit accepted. Excuse me. Oh, it's the Kurzgesagt Gambit. Hmm. Oh, it is called. There is a Rice Gambit. B. It's a King's Accepted. B. Wow. Realizing that it's important for him to mobilize the queenside pieces as rapidly as possible. So knight d2. Black has completed his development in the most satisficial manner. His command of the king file will take more importance as the game proceeds. Oops, sorry, this is what I meant to push. A good move. It makes room for the advance of the rook pawn. It takes away the useful square to basically the bishop going back to f4, and white's queen bishop. It also indicates that white to move his knight so that the queen will not be tied down to the protection. So basically what this does is, this move does a couple things. It frees up this pawn here, makes this queen bound to this knight, and prevents the bishop from coming back here. It prevents these three things. I mean, it gets these three things going. And that's why it gets an exclam. Knight to f1. Let's see. He's saying that potentially bishop to g3 would have avoided this type of a push here. Much favorable. It avoided say if the bishop wanted to retreat back, this wouldn't have been a good move. So he did the right thing by actually keeping it there. I know that sounds kind of funny, but he did the right thing. Queen rook attacks the bishop on there, and then bishop takes knight, pawn takes f. Talking back here, f d6 was played, then rook to that wins a pawn because of and the rook attack, so double attack. So he had to do what he had to do. Queen to d3, bishop f5, queen to g3, pawn h5, and then pawn d6, rook e2, or e8, yeah, rook e2, bishop d1, h4, queen c3, to e6. White maneuver on the queen's side are quite harmless. The game will be decided on the other side of the wing. So rook to d8. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I do have that right. No? I believe it's this here. I gotta tell you, I know what you're thinking. What if he takes here? If you do that, then bishop to e4 actually decides the game at that point, because you're attacking here. There's nothing that really you could do. So game, set, and match. So d1. Oops, not rook d1, sorry. Bishop, it's bishop d1. Takes rook. Let's see the lines. mates there. Where do you have a mate here? That was the mates. Hey, just in time. Oh, there is a rice gambit. There is a rice gambit. I wanted to show it to you. And I actually put it on the analyze board of iclhs.org. Should be here. See, rice gambit right here. It's the rice gambit. Look right there. I think it's called the Marshall, but I'm not exactly sure. But this is it's called the Rice Gambit, and if you're wanting to look it up, I think the code is C39 on the thing. That's and it's it's under the category of the King's Gambit accepted. I don't know how to say this one person's name here. Well, this I'll do this and I'll copy it so that if you wanted to actually take a look at it, that's the full gambit thing. If you ever wanted to dive into it, because I've never really heard of the rice gambit before. So we'll now that we got that, we'll get into our board editing and start doing some of our chess games. Yeah, yeah. I just put it out there for you if you were interested in looking at kind of a new gambit. If you were interested in a new gambit, you could potentially look into that. I was shocked when it actually came up when I actually put the moves in. I was like, wow. I'm like, first of all, it came up King's Gambit accepted, then it was the Knight's variation, then it was the Berlin Defense Knight variation, then it was that one, Rice Gambit. I'm sure though they have to play a certain way too for it to come to pass, but it's an interesting opening nevertheless to uh, to share with the Chess Cruncher community. So has your day going? So 4, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 3. Perfect. This is it. Alrighty then. Let's. Excuse me. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this should be a fun one. Okay. There you go. That's a walk in the park. Alrighty then, let's do this thing. Think again. There's one more. There's one move that will allow you to be able to win this. just one move. This was a little tougher of one, but we got it. A little tougher, but we got it. You see it, right? I think it has something to do with either. Oh, come on! Don't lag them in now. Yeah, it's in two. Mate in two. It's lagging on me again. I think it has something to do with. Oh, no, not again. Do you see the mate too? Alright, if he doesn't do that, let's say he plays rook takes, then you have mate e5. So we're doing good. Hey, you know what? It's tough. You know what? Don't fret. You know what? We're learning and we're improving. Sometimes, if you have to, you can always put it in and check it with the engine to make sure you're doing it right. Sometimes I do that just to make sure for the first move. I only do it sometimes for the first move. That's what I actually did. I checked to make sure I had it right, and there was a mate in 2. So, and then when we found out there was a mate in 2, then we were able to solve it. So we're doing good. You just have to look for the things that most players don't look for. I guess maybe that's a good example of Alpha Zero, that Alpha Zero looks for things that most chess players don't. Let's see here. 1, 2, 1, 3, and then 4. Perfect. All right, let's totally own this thing. You got this one. Yeah, there we go. Congrats. Nice. Boom. The most standard checkmate. Gotta love it. I gotta love it. This is a walk in the park as well. Another walk in the park, as I like to say. Do you see the board now? I mean, do you see the move? Have you seen the cooled combo? Yep, there it is. There it is. Yeah, I like loving it. Loving that. Bishop's here, and then knight. The pawn's there. Mm-hmm. You got it. Double check mate, and then after he has to take. Well, yeah, he's got to take, and then mate to boot. There you go. You gotta love that. That's great. This is excellent. We're making good time now. Excuse me. Yep. Here we go. Another one. Let's see how we handle this one. There you go. Loving that. Two, one. This should be a walk in the park as well. This should be a walk in the park. Yep, there you go. There's the mate. Nice. Nice work. Whoa, we got a lot of pieces on this one. Whoa. Hello, there's tons of pieces here. Wow. Let's see. That's 4, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 4, and 4. Okay. Lots of pieces on this one. I told you there'd be a boatload of pieces. This one's a really cool one. This one is really cool. I really like this one. I really, really, really like this one. I know you'll like solving it too. Excuse me. Yeah, there it is. There it is. You're probably wondering, why does this work? It's because of that. It's because of that. And that's because of, oops. Yeah, there. Kaboom. Great find on that one. That was a tough one. That one was a tough one. Right. That one was I really liked that puzzle. I thought that was pretty unique of a puzzle for learning. With a lot of pieces on the board, finding that tactic is playable and plausible. So here, there. Okay, three. Okay, perfect. Oh, if you ever have any questions when we're doing our end game, just write in there too. So if you ever have any like questions on the end game, the knights or anything, just write in there and I'll do my best to answer it. Yeah, perfect. Well, let me see here. He can actually come out. I don't think it's rook d8. Let me see. Yeah, that works. Yep. Well, I guess it is rook c8 then there. And if he takes, then you have one mate and then you have the other mate. So you do have two mates. Good job on finding both. Oh right, we get to load the board with more pieces. The board has more pieces on it on this one. So be prepared. Be forewarned. Oops. Okay, after this one we got two more. You got it. If he takes, there's the first. There's first. What's the second? What if no pieces take but they move? So any other move besides take. So it's basically this. Rook h5. Any other move. Any move. Yeah, any move, and then if it's that, then you have mate. So any move. If there's no take, but any of these moves on the entire board is played, then queen to h7 is checkmate. So, congrats on finding that. Let's see here. There. Oh, oops. We have here and here. So we have those covered, don't we? So you have your Anastasia's mate. Your Anastasia's mate. And one more, we get into our endgame. Hip hip hooray. That's a happy day. We're going to do some more endgame studies and loving it. Oh, yeah, you got it. There you go. Wow. That was, as I like to say, greased lightning. Okay. Onward and upward to end game. We're getting closer and closer to the end, and then that'll be sad. Alright, let's do it to it. me see here. Oh, we need one pawn here. Sorry about that. Almost forgot all the pawns. We have to give Bernstein some his just due pawns, and Sussman also his pawns as well. There. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. It's white to move perfect. Oops, I forgot. Should have made that a study, drat. It's okay. Just have to go the long route. Okay. White has a superior pawn structure and centralized pieces, making an obvious impression. However, white has an idea here that would allow him to add one more advantage to his into his quiver of pluses. He can create a crushing knight versus poor bishop scenario. What is the move for white that creates the poor bishop versus poor knight? I mean, poor super bishop, super knight versus poor bishop. What is the move? You are white. White to move. This is an exclam. This is an exclam move. What do you think the move is? I'm gonna give you a little. I will give you a minute to think about it or so. White to move. It's an exclam. You mean bishop takes? Are you talking about bishop takes a6? You talk bishop takes a6? Ah, perfect. Yep. You got it. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a nice move. Now, there's another exclam. White to move. White to move. One more exclam. Actually, he does back to back. He has, after this one exclam move, there's one more exclam move. But I want to see if you can see this exclam move for white. It's going to be a little tough. You're going to have to keep it keep our endgame idea in that is a move. You're one move too soon though. That's one move too soon. Good spot, but one move too soon. You need this move first to set up for that. You need this move first. Just think of a forcing move that would destroy the pawn structure, would force a concession in the pawn structure. What move would force H? Think forcing a concession in the pawn structure by sacrificing something. Think sacrificing something. Yes. There you go. There you go. Exclam. Exclam. He plays b5 because taking actually does nothing. Taking only allows the king. It doesn't help. Taking doesn't help because all he can do is come in. Then he's got a spot to put his king there, and there's nothing. Also opens up for an attack later on. Also frees up c5 for infiltration and attacks. So he just goes b5. Now it's white to move. White to move. White to move. Exclam. One more exclam. One last exclam. Yep, there you go. There you go. Now that move has teeth to it. He goes f5. And then knight to e5. Threatening the fork here, here, and there. This is a beautiful move. King c7. E takes. E takes. And then knight d3. And our knight's just jumping all over the board. King b7. Rook he1. They're saying though back here, if black didn't want to take but plays bishop takes here, knight takes, and that's a very unattractive move. He loses a knight, so if you're wondering about that. He8. Knight to c5 check. King a7. An excellent player will always head for a position like this. A knight this good. Okay, a knight this good, along with black's passive king and the threat on a6, will bring home a full point almost every time. Every time. This type of position will almost every time bring home a point for white or black, whoever has it. King c2. He played that there. He's saying that a famous German player played Fritz, and he played this move instead of the walking there. However, I think Breinstein choice is far the more human move. Note that humans don't necessarily mean best. It's just a good practical decision. So back here when he plays this, it's a good practical decision. you could the Fritz played a German player, and Fritz played king to a3 instead of c2. So the AI played or the engine. It wasn't an AI at that point. The engine played a3, king a3. So king d2 after pushing, king d2, bishop f5. The alteration is actually b4 here. Let white decisively invade on to the 7th by playing c takes d, rook takes king c3, rook takes e3, king c4, rook e2, d7 check, king a8, oops, I did b8, sorry. That was mine. c7, rook takes g, takes, check, b7 check, king a8, b5, h5, rook d8, or d6, and it's all over. And by the way, if you're wondering why, let's see here, he played a8 instead of this here, because the knight check would be totally devastating. You can actually come there. Or potentially, I'm thinking better. We tries that. We just go up the board. We take there. We take here, and we're good to go. So bishop f5. Rook takes e. Rook takes, and then rook e1. If he trades, it's over, and it wouldn't be fun. So he's trying rook g, rook e7, infiltration in a8, okay, rook e2, bishop c8. He's also, if this is what he was talking about here, back here. If he played rook takes e1, this is the example. Though rook takes e1 and king takes e1 is indeed losing for black, picking the right plan might be harder than one might suppose. In view, white can make this easy on himself if he realizes that he's a king up. Black's king is frozen on the defense of a6. Thus, all white has to do is find a way to infiltrate into black's camp with his king. Like h5 would be played, f2, h4, g3, takes, and then takes. There's also this here, and then you have G4 is easy to win as well. So he's got to play the main line. King takes. Passive play often offers no hope either. Like if he plays bishop G6, king F4, bishop B1, king E5, A2, F4, bishop C4, king F6, bishop D6, or D5, sorry, king C7, F5, king D6, not F6, D6. Bishop E4, king C7, bishop F3, 96, bishop D5, knight D8, and it's time for black to cash in their cards or their chips or whatever they call it, or turn in for the night and resign, because what will eventually happen is knight's gonna take, and if bishop takes, the king's gonna take, and then the king will so it takes, and then that'll fall. And while black's worrying about this pawn here, the king will come over and grab these two. So and at this point black's out of options, and so if he moves, whatever he does, if he moves his king here or moves his king there, there's no way to and if he tries to move his bishop, the knight will take, we'll grab this pawn over here. I'll show you. We'll take here, he takes that, we come over, up the board it goes. And if the king comes here, then what we do is move our king in, and if check, we move back here, we just win that, and then if takes, it's resignable at this point. He could try trapping, but then we just take there, and these two pawns will protect themselves. We can just come on over here and just gobble everything up after that, and then be happy as can be, happy as a clam. There's also king a7. King e1, followed by rook check, and then king to f2. So like if the bishop moved, check. If the king moved there, then king f2. This is what they were talking about, protecting this pawn here. And now this rook's free to, this pawn's free, and the rook's free to gobble everything up in its path. And the rook's basically going to have to play there. And then it's going to come down to something like that. Actually, that loses. I'm sorry. That's a loss. So the king would actually have to come here, and we pick up a pawn. We just start gobbling up material like Pac-Man. Munch, 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 munch. Knight d3. Bishop e6. Knight takes the pawn. This not only wins a pawn, but it also defends g2. Yep, munch munch. Now the rook is free to roam the county. The rook is free to roam throughout the kingdom, with doing as much damage to all these pawns that it wills. King c4, bishop c4. Rook goes to e7. Rook d8. And then knight to d3. And now that the rook's off this file, we can actually move our knight back and start going for the KO. If the potential bishop takes, king takes, c5, rook takes f, b, c7 is completely lost at this point, because if you take, well, if he takes here, you first want to take there, so you don't want to take with the thing, you want to take here, and this is going to fall. There's too many pawns, way too many pawns. d3 is the only move, but the continuation is the other one. Okay, dokie. Let's get one. I think we can do. Let's see, how many is this? Oh yeah, we'll do one more section. Yep. We got enough time. And the new section is called "The King is a Fighting Piece." That's the new section. The king is a fighting piece. Gotta love that. So we're at a whole new section. A whole new section of the book. Yes, hooray. It's The King is a Fighting Piece. I am so happy. We get to do some more. Oh yay, 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 yay. But it's black to move in this one. We don't want black to move. We want it to be our turn, right? Okay. Black to move here. Oops, I should have I made it a study. The king is hiding. Okay. This is what it says. The king is an extremely strong piece, but many players lose sight of this fact due to the necessity for it to hide during the middle game. Experienced tournament competitors, though, are well aware of the need to let their king flex its muscles once an endgame is reached. In fact, many games are saved or won with one side managing to activate their king while the other king sits smugly at home doing nothing. Through the use of your king in an endgame, the concept is given regular lip service from basically D-class players. That's not true, but sometimes you have to remember that your king's safety is important, and you have to, as Jeremy Silman would say, not be so. I don't like to say lip. I would say be open-minded to your king as a fighting piece. If you think of the medieval times, imagine the king, the one with the crown, King Arthur. Was King Arthur a wimp? No. He just needed his guys to clear out all the artillery and horse units, and then when it was time, he could come in and do some damage too. And so, if you think of your king as a a warrior, but he can't take on the whole army himself, and of course, if they get rid of the king, then they have your kingdom. So it makes sense. But don't ever forget that your king is a fighting unit too. That's what Jeremy Silman is saying. Hopefully, the example that follows will help make it more reasonable for us to look at the position and see that our king is a fighting piece. So we're going to get to take a look at this. This is a game between these two players here. Oops, whoa. So Leningrad. Those are the two players. I'll make your pawns look. Okay, this is an interesting thing that he was saying. He says that the pawn structure is really he's going to make black's pawn structures even weaker, and his pawn structures are weak and appear to be doomed. That's what it looks like. Though things look bad for black, he'll be able to save himself by the following two classic endgame concepts. One, in the endgame, make your king a fighting piece, number one. Two, keep your rook active at all costs, two. So black has made it his goal to keep his king active and his other rook active. His king and rook are active, 2 thumbs up. The game's going to be a draw no matter these are weak. G5. King h7. King takes h7. rook takes a2, h6 check. We don't retreat, we go forward. King e5. Remember, our king's a fighting piece. We take here, and then I'm gonna see what you say, my chess cruncher friends. This is you're black to move. It's an exclam. Black to move. Exclam. Find the exclam move. There's only one move that's an exclam move. Find the exclam move. I'll give you a second to think about it. So take your time. I'll give you a few minutes. Did you give it a go? Oh. Yeah, King e4 is right. Alright, 5. King e4, yeah, King e4 is right. There you go. White is three pawns up. But one king, but the funny thing is, but one king down. F4. Exclam. So F4 was the move that's the exclam setup for the next move after that. sacrificing another pawn. E takes F, and king F3, and there's no way to, yeah. There you go. And then actually there's a line back here on move 4, so we'll go back to move 4. If rather than taking, if he goes instead of that H4, he tries H4, G4, and then King E4, H5, King E4, Rook F6, King B2, H6, King takes B3, H7, King B1. Oops, not B8, King B1. King G2, King B2 check, with an instant draw since King F1 allows, if he goes King F1, it allows the stopping of this, so he has to go for the draw. And also after number 5, if he plays Rook takes here, King E4, if he takes, then F4 exclam, again is an equal position. Is an equal position. And then there's one more here. Let me see. F. Okay. If he doesn't take but plays King F1, then Rook takes A1. I mean Rook A1 check. King E2. F3 check. King F2. A2 check. As another way to make a draw for black. So F3, King F3. Now black's king is safe from checks while white is threatening the immediate mate. So H3, pawn H3, Rook A2, I mean A1 check. And our next example shows Larry Christensen enjoying a superior king position, then sacrificing a pawn to make an even better one. We might save this one. We'll see what the time is it. If we have about 20 minutes, we might be able to do it. Yeah, we'll do it. We got enough time. Let's do another one. Okay, this is a game between it was in 2000, the US Championship, the year 2000. Larry Christensen. Black's a pawn up and has a better king position, but his d3 pawn is vulnerable and there is no obvious breakthroughs happening at any time, anytime soon. The way Black turns this into a forcing win is very instructive. Okay, I would like to give you, it's Black to move, my chess friends, Black to move. Do an exclam move. Think, look at the whole position. Don't, whatever you do, don't guess, because that's the worst thing to do. Think about it. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it, really quick, because I want to see if you can make a plan up. Because think about, this is the end game. Let's say you have 5 minutes left. Make up a reasonable plan. We can't in this position make progress as Black, of course. We have to do something. This pawn is a problem piece. We have to do something. We have to get our king. Our king's a better fighting piece. So what do we do to seal the tide of the battle and make our king even stronger? How do we make our king even stronger as Black? Go. Your turn. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about this. Yeah, you have to make progress with Black, and you have to think, how can I make my king a better fighting machine? How could I make my king a better fighting machine? If you have to give a pawn up in the process, don't worry about it. Remember, the whole goal is active king. Your king is a major fighting piece in the endgame. So if you have to give up material and trade down, it's possible to do that. But just think, make a plan that makes Black's king superior to White's king. I'll give you 1 more minute. When it reaches 8:58 on my clock, 8:59, I'll tell you when it's 8:59. You have 30 seconds to make up the decision. Alright. I'll tell you when. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. What have you chosen? What is your choice? What is the move for black? What is black's move? King F5. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, okay. D2. Yeah. Yeah, that would work. That's a good move too. But that's one move too soon. Surprisingly, bishop d5. I know that sounds like what? What? Bishop d5, yes. Your whole goal is that he can't trade. He plays bishop d1. If he trades, it's all over. Because if you look at it, let's say now the king can win the pawn. Maybe the king can actually win the pawn, yeah. And then we play g4. We lock all counterplay down. King c3, h5, king d3, a6. We're stopping all counterplay. King c3, king e4, e4, or sorry, not e4, not e5, e4, king e4, king c4, king f3, king c5, king g2, king b6, king takes h2, king takes h6, king takes h4, sorry, h4, b5, h takes g3, b6, g2, b7, queens, we check, king g2, queen a8, king f2, and then king e2, and it's all over. And you were right, when he played here, a2 was the correct next move. That's an exclam move as well. Black sacrifices his extra pawn to increase the dominion over the dominion of his king. This in turn will allow black to make contact with the b4 pawn here. King takes, and then bishop e4, ending the threat of bishop takes a7 or h7 forever and forever, as we like to say. Okay, so queen bishop a2. Now now the exchange of bishops is even worse for white than it was before. So if the bishops actually take here, and then king c3, g4, king c4, king f3, king b5, there, a, takes, b5, king f3, b6, go, queen, and then queen, A6. King B2, B7. Oh, he did B1. He did B2 check. King C. C8. Queen takes. King takes, and the pawn goes boom down the board. So King D, D4. The king is a dominating piece. Next is we got to place all the pawns on dark squares so that they can be immune from white's attack on his bishop. 2. Force the B pawn to advance to B5. And so C5 will be available to the king. He will then surround and win it by King C5 mixed with the bishop attacking the along the diagonal, the F1 to A6 diagonal. R bishop can go to A4 to potentially somewhere around there, more likely the F1 to A6, because the other way he'd be taken. But he could actually do that. So King H there, so F4, H6, H takes, H takes, A6, Bishop D5. Giving black's king access to C4. Bishop D7. King C4. If bishop took, and then king takes, D3, G4, King E3, King C4, King F4, King takes B, King takes G, and then A5. And away they go. The pawn will queen before white's king even gets there. Let's see, there. One move too late. Knight C4. King B5. Not B5. G. There we go. Get rid of that. Delete. King D4. King E2. King E4. Bishop takes, bishop E6, A5. Black has won the B pawn and should now win the game. However, care must be shown. White would love to pick up the G pawn and then sacrifice his bishop for black's remaining pawn. So King B4. Nothing is wrong with C4 here either. C4, King E3, Bishop. Oops, what? That's not what I want. Let me see. 16. C4, King in there. B3. Ah, there we go. lead to white's quick resignation at this point, because how's he going to stop this from coming down the board? Can't. Queen, bishop G. Here black suffers a meltdown. That's what he says. Black doesn't know what to do. He's trying his darndest to. You gotta commend White's Black actually made a couple mistakes here. Bishop to c6 wins. And it says that king would White's king would actually come here and then take advantage of all that. Okay, be blessed. I'll see ya. And we actually just finished, so that's good. He said that back here on 16. Sad to say, bishop c2 check, king e3, bishop e king c3, and bishop d7. Not a4, bishop takes, queen takes, king e4, G, king f4, and then bishop d1, and White must resign at this point. So we'll call it on this here. All right, perfect. We ended perfectly, right on time. We got 2 and 2. Okay. Do you have any questions before I log off? I'll take that as a no. Okay. But I wanted to thank you all for logging on, participating, and you know what? We're doing good with our chess, studies of our end game. We just got to keep pushing forward, and we could do this. Gotta remember, Bruce Lee didn't fear the person who practiced 10,000 individual kicks, but he feared the person who practiced one kick 10,000 times, and that's what we have to do is practice our end game until we know it like the back of our hand. And like what Yadu Sarawan said, is every long journey begins with one small step. We become what we think about, so think positive thoughts on the Lord Jesus, and he'll be your rock when you need him in chess training, and during the stressful times before the tournaments. He's always there. The Holy Spirit as well is always there. Don't forget when you fall down. It's not if you're going to fall down, it's just when. Get back up like a chest cruncher does, and dust off and keep pushing forward always. And we found out in chess that moving forward doesn't always mean a piece moving forward. A piece moving back could be more efficient than a piece moving forward for an attack. Remember to always put on your Grandmaster glasses, because your Grandmaster glasses will help you with your calculating over the board. And remember, knowing is not enough, you must apply. Willing is not enough, you must do. Excuse me. And we can think about okay. Remember, treasure your victories and learn from your losses. And remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistake that defines you as a chess player, person, and all that. And remember, never take for granted your talent, because hard-working chess players will beat talented players, because talented players won't work. That's the sad thing. That was a quote on Facebook, and it was really sad that stuff that comes easy for some, they just don't put the work in, but those that have to put the work in treasure it more, and they end up beating the talented players. So Alekhine wasn't a talented player, but he worked harder than any of the chess players, and he made up the difference. So let me see. And then now we have to think about this. When you're studying and most are playing and doing all the other stuff, and they come over and say, what you're doing? I'm a chess cruncher. What's a chess cruncher? A chess cruncher hangs up their coat, they hang up their hat, they sit down and study when most won't. A chess cruncher does, and that makes all the difference. And as Wesley So says to the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll keep pushing forward. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher. As Hannibal Smith would say, always predict what your opponent's going to do, and have a plan based around it. And remember, always honor the Lord Jesus and keep pushing forward. 2 thumbs up. Great job. Go Team Chess Cruncher, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Be blessed.